All right. Hello, my most amazing artist. This is the second video for your worry. You should have already watched the video on making your eyes, and on your 9 or your square paper, you put your eyes in black Sharpie for your worry. So I want you to take this paper and kind of put it to the side because we're gonna work on our lines. So we're gonna do a little practice first. So if you have some practice or some scratch paper to practice your lines, that would be perfect because we want to give ourselves a menu of lines to use when we make our worry. So this is making our worry, but you'll need some crayons for this step. If you really want a pencil so you can erase, you can use it, but I think you guys could probably just go straight to crayons and use crayons. Now we're making our worry. I want you to think of colors that think of your worries. If something's bothering you, what color is that? And you can use lots of different colors. But you want to be careful and press kind of hard. We're going to be doing a magic trick with crayon and watercolor next week. And the trick is pressing hard. So I'm going to pick a couple of colors that will show up. I like some blues. I'm going to do an orange and maybe a purple. And it doesn't matter. This is just practice. So we have been talking a lot about lines. We learned the 3 different directions lines can go in, and we learned about with Larry. So we learned about horizontal lines, diagonal lines, and vertical lines. Now these are all directions, and any line can travel in this direction. So on your paper, if you want to put your directions down, you can. So it's horizontal, diagonal, vertical. Now, we talked last week, and I know it was kind of crazy in class on the Google Zoom or the meetup we did about the types of lines. So I'm gonna do a different color. So we talked about one of the first types of lines you can do is just a straight line. And the straight line can travel in all these different directions. The second type of line we talked about last week was that wavy line, and that waves up and waves down, kind of like when you're doing the hula, right? So you can make your wavy lines. The trick with wavy lines is there's no points. They can be really spread out. They can be really close together. It's up to you. The trick with wavy lines is it needs to kind of curve up and curve down. That third type of line we learned about is a lot of friends' favorite line. It's that monster teeth or really sharp line. That's called a zigzag line. And the trick to this is to really make those sharp points at each top and bottom. So if it doesn't look like teeth, it might not be a zigzag line. So again, you can make these really close together. You can make them really far apart. The trick is just having those points. So that's your zigzag. Then the last line we talked about is my favorite line, and that's a loopy line. When you create those loops, so it's kind of like riding a roller coaster, or when I was little, I used to think this was cursive handwriting and I thought it was super fancy. Now some friends do it like this. Sometimes you can do your loopy line upside down too. Either way is fine. The trick is making sure you have loops. Now, any of these lines can travel any of these directions. So when we start putting some of these lines on our worry, it can go diagonal, horizontal, or vertical. All right? So once you're comfortable with making these lines, I want you to pick 3 or 4 colors that you really like, and we'll put them in our worry. So go ahead and grab your crayons. I'm gonna switch out some of my colors. I'm gonna make sure I have some. I'm gonna get rid of my orange or my purple. I'm gonna do those 4. So I picked 4 colors. I'm gonna keep my line paper close by so I can use it as a reference. I'm gonna bring back my worry picture. So this is my actual project paper that has my eyes on it. And if you think back to that book, that worry had lines kind of all wrapped up and squirreled together. So when we're upset or we're worried about something, those feelings are all mixed up, right? Think about to the color monster when he was all mixed up in the beginning. That's kind of what we're gonna do. So I was thinking, you just start with 1 line and 1 color. So I'm gonna say straight lines are yellow, wavy lines are green, loopy lines are orange, and zigzag are blue. And I know that every time I pick up that color, I can make that line or You can do whatever it feels like you're doing. So I'm gonna start by doing some zigzag lines. So I feel like when I'm worried, zigzag lines make sense. So I'm just gonna start making some zigzag lines. And I'm making them in diagonals, I can make them in vertical, and I can make them in horizontal. The trick here is I need to push hard enough with my crayon that I can feel the difference on my paper. You should be able to feel that waxy crayon. Maybe I wanna do another horizontal here and diagonal here. All right, now I think I wanna do some loopy lines because sometimes when I'm worried, I get all loopy. So I'm just gonna start making loopy lines. I don't wanna do lines in my face. I wanna keep my eyes open or easy to see. So I'm just gonna start making loopy lines in different directions. They can go vertical, horizontal, diagonal, and you can crisscross over your eyebrow and other lines. You just don't wanna cover your eyes. All right. That looks pretty good. It looks pretty worried. It needs more though. Sorry about my table. Let's see, I'm gonna get some straight lines now, and I'm just gonna start adding small straight lines, kind of going in all kinds of different directions. Again, I'm pushing really hard. Not so hard that I'm gonna break my crayon, but hard enough I can feel it. Okay. Maybe put some straight lines up here around the eyebrows. So remember, you can put your lines going in lots of different directions. They can be short, they can be long, it's up to you. And the short lines kind of look like fur. All right, what kind of line do I have left? I have my wavy line left. So I'm gonna take my, yellow, and I'm gonna start adding some wavy lines. I want really big wavy lines. And if you like them really big, you can do that too. I'm just gonna keep overlapping. I'm not scribbling, I'm being intentional where, oh, broke my crayon. I'm being intentional where I place my lines, but they're overlapping to give it that kind of crazy, chaotic, worried feel. All right, I kind of like that. Once you've done all your colors and all your lines, look at it and see if it needs more. Is there a favorite color that you like to bring out? Do you want to add little lines in different places? This is when you can really have some fun and make sure your worry is complete. All right. I have some white paper showing, which is good. And then I also have all my craziness. So this is your worry for this week. That's probably all we're gonna have time to do in class. But for next week, I'm gonna give you a hint. We're gonna make an invisible worry. I know, it's kind of crazy, but it's gonna be really cool. So get your worry, practice your lines, get your worry the way you like it, take a picture of it for me, and then upload it to our assignment. I can't wait to see your colorful worries, and I'll talk to you next week. Goodbye, my most amazing artists.